right. Let me know when we live. When we're live. When we're live. Casey Ship here. It's going to be on the podcast. It's going to be inside of the Unbothered and Focused training. Those of you that have access to Unbothered and Focused through Hot Moms, this will be in there as well. And like I said on the podcast, Hot Moms Lifestyle, if you don't follow, be sure to follow that. Please leave a positive review. You can leave your negative one, but like, why? Why? If you don't have anything good to say, just don't freaking say it, okay? This isn't Walmart. It's not about customer service, okay? The customer is not always right here. It is my company. We're going to have some fun today, but also we're going to go pretty deep. This came up after my post yesterday about grief. You know, we're in this, for those that are woo-woo, we're in the Lionsgate portal, and it's a big full moon. Everybody's feeling that. And I work with women. So typically the clientele that I work with is like that high-performance female, whether she's a business owner, six-figure gal, 7, 8, like she's just a high-performance gal. She's very career-driven. She usually is already working out. She's already trying to do things, and she gets stuck, and usually it's a hormonal issue, even if she's gone to do HRT. You just are finding yourself in burnout. You're stuck. You're ready for more. That's usually when women find me. And everything in their life changes. They finally figure out why they're struggling with weight, why it's always been a thing. They get to the root of every single success block and clear it. So I have a trauma-informed approach that just really clears out the reason why you would ever need to struggle and feeling like, you know, things are like chaos. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are addicted to chaos. That's okay. It's because of, well, A, being a woman, a female brain, and also just kind of like what happened to us and then what didn't happen to us. Sorry. Obviously, we're going to make edits, but this is on a live, so you get what you get. Anyway, I do cuss a lot. I'm going to try not to, in case you want to use this video on Facebook. Maybe I'll try not to, or maybe I may just say fuck it and say the word. But anyway, let me pull up my notes and we'll get rolling. So those of you that are watching, comment below if you have been feeling in the past month overly stressed out, like almost to the point where you're wired and tired, like no energy, but there's a lot of anxious energy. Like, if I don't do this, then this isn't going to happen. Or like, I'm worried about sales. I'm worried about this. Like, I got all this stuff to do. How's it going to get done? That kind of thing. So let me know if it's like heightened right now, or has it been? Just let me know in the comments. For two reasons. One is to let other women know, like, unfortunately, women have this thing about being perfect. It is who we are. We want to be perfect, you know, perfect. And if we're not perfect, or we say that things aren't perfect, it kind of comes with shame. Like, we should be happy. We should have this thing. We should be rich already. We should already be, you know, a size 0 or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of shame in what we do. And I work with a lot of dark energies. I think that we should embrace those because it's human. We're very human. And a lot of times, you know, some of the woo-woo people in the crowd tries to just think positive. Just think positive. And that is very toxic in itself, because when you do that, it's almost like a child's coming in the room to tell you they're scared and they're sad. And you're telling them, don't think that way. Just think positive. Well, that doesn't fix anything, you know? And unfortunately, you know, a lot of women have to wait till they experience severe tragedy to wake up. And but those of you that are smart, because I know you are, you take action way before anything like that happens. You know how you're supposed to be feeling. You know how things are when you're aligned. And when we fall out of alignment, that's when things get scary. So number one, after you put that down, I just want you to know that anytime you do experience those fears in your business, and even if you're a guy watching this, take it for whatever, but typically I do work with feminine, you know, females. I have some guys. Guys are way easier to work with because they're less complex. What can I say? But usually when you find yourself stressed out, for me personally, this is all about me. All right, I'm sharing what works for me and what's come to be true for me. And apparently what is true for me is helping a lot of fucking people. So you may want to listen. When I get scared, I'm out of alignment, and or sometimes we're casting these visions, right? And a lot of people think that if you think about a problem, if you worry about something long enough, you're going to manifest it. Okay. And I understand that. However, there is something that women have that we were killed and burned at the stake for many centuries ago. We still get, cut for it. Is intuition. Feminine energy is intuitive. That's who we are. It's what we are, and we were made to feel like we are of the devil, witches. We're made fun of, like, oh, that's feminine. That's that woo woo shit. That's girly shit. That's the all the stuff. But when you are in alignment and you're tapped in, and there's this conviction there, and there's this certainty, and it is an intuition, sometimes you are picking up what's coming. Sometimes that happens, and you tap into the collective energy. That can happen. Have you ever been in a room and you feel differently, or you get around somebody and you feel different? It's the same as like a peanut allergy. If a kid has a peanut allergy and they get around the peanuts and they go into anaphylactic shock, or they get allergies, they don't have to consume the peanut. They can just get in their energy field. That tells you right there, we're very intelligent beings, right? And so to say that we don't pick up these things, like, you're just denying science. So some of you are very sensitive, very tapped in, and you do feel everybody's energy. Like, I can't believe I'm on right now publicly, because something like this, it's kind of deeper. I usually only go live inside of my paid mastermind or by myself, and we put the content up, because when I do public stuff, I'm going to try not to look until I'm done. But when I do public stuff, I can feel people get on. I can feel people get on the live stream. It's pretty crazy. So we are learning as we go. But anyway, just know that when you feel really stressed out, it usually means you're out of alignment. And all you got to do is find your way back into alignment. Find out. Now, listen, I would be lying if I said that this one training is going to solve everything. It's not. It's not even the tip of the iceberg, okay? Everything resource-wise, in the deep somatic work, and in the strategy, everything that you're probably going to want, it's inside the program. So if you watch this, you're like, well, where is that? Or what is she talking about? It's probably because it's inside the program. If you want that, you can DM me, or I'll give you what to do at the end here. But today I want you to walk away with some things that you can do right away that's going to shift your energy and your mindset and whatever you want to call it, all right? And I'm going to share some stories about where this came from and how to let go. Dear God, how many people here has been told that you just need to let go? You just need to relax. Jesus Christ. I can't tell you how many woo-woo people, healers, and all these life coach people, that's all they would tell me. I've even been a psychiatrist that would be like, yeah, you're stressed out, you need to relax. Like, well, how the fuck do you do that? It's almost like when there's two males fighting violently, and you're like, calm down, please. What the fuck's that gonna do? That's like telling a woman like us that she needs to go relax and let go. How the fuck do I do that, right? Have you ever thought that? So, totally me. And I finally found the how. And the how is masculine. See, feminine is trusting. We don't worry about the how. We cast the vision. We know what we want. We know the desires of our heart, and we know that we're worthy of them, and we just have to sit back, baby, and receive that shit and take action accordingly. We don't just sit back and do nothing like a fat house cat, right? That's why you see a lot of us, we're out here working, we're doing the thing. But when we get triggered, when we get run down, we start tapping into the fear of, what if everything goes away? What if I fuck it up? Blah, 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 blah. And all that's trauma. That is, or you could call it negative charges, blocks, limiting beliefs, whatever you want to call them, but it is what it is, okay? So for me today, I want to share with you what works for me when it comes to letting go and trusting. And let me tell you something. It's one of the most scariest things I've ever had to do is trust, okay? And I'm still learning, okay? I am not perfect. I'm still figuring it out. But I have had a lot of success along the way. And really, if I can share with you something that takes off 3 to 5 years of you going through the fucking dark night of the soul, then I'm going to share it. So trusting is very scary to those that come from trauma. Trauma meaning, like, if you grew up in chaos, if your mom, was always in a hurry, or the adults around you suffered anxiety, they had anxiety issues, maybe they drank wine every night, maybe they depended on Skull every day, or cigarettes or coffee, everything was like your parents' energy was at the mercy of what was going on in the world, the news, what happened at work that day. Low emotional intelligence, right? So they're just projecting what they know, what they were taught, what they were taught. They never do any work on their emotional intelligence, right? Everybody also thinks that it's all mindset. Dude, I believe in that, but I also believe in the spirit. I do believe we are spiritual beings in like these meat suits. So I believe in handling all of it, the physical, the somatic, like our bodies, because they do keep score, the mind, okay, and also the spirit and the soul. So that's what you're going to get when you're with me. So I like to leave no stone unturned, okay? I like to get it all done. I'm kind of extreme. So for me, all right, letting go. And my point was, the reason it's scary for us, I may get cold. Yeah, the reason it's scary is because we've been through something, and you may not know what it is today, or maybe it's what we never had. Maybe we were never showed that it was okay to be afraid, or whatever. But a telltale sign that you have like some pretty severe shit is when things are easy, when things are quiet, or they're too easy, you get kind of scared. You kind of wiggle around. You're like, dude, I know something bad's coming. I think something bad's going to happen. Something bad has to happen. If everything's easy, that means I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to lose my money. I've got to stay on top of it. That's straight up trauma. Okay. We go through that in Reset and Restore and throughout the program in Hot Moms to really, because healing is not linear. It's all layered. You have to focus on the outer layer. What's the thing here? Peel that back. It's a daily thing. And eventually you'll evolve into the person that you want to be, and you'll look around and go, wow, I have the things that I want to have. And then you keep setting the goals, because setting goals and attaining them is what makes humans happy. Didn't know that either. Wow. So let's get into it. Are you ready? No lube. And then what I'll do is I'll come back when I'm done, and I'll do some Q&A if you've got any questions about it. So let's roll. Okay. So I heard this one from Mel Lair. I don't even know, maybe it was last year, and it hit me so fucking hard, and I had to call on it, dude. Last month, July. So any of you business owners out there know July is usually shit for business. Everybody goes on vacation and like stops being awesome. So, but we can change that, and I did change that, and we still pulled in and had a really, really good July. And I'm going to teach you how I did that. So when we do things out of force, and this can go into dieting. The reason that I'm talking about all this is this can be applied to weight loss and diet. Money, business, weight loss, diet, relationships. Energy is an energy, baby, okay? It doesn't discriminate. So you can apply this to any area of your life, okay? So when we do things out of force, for example, okay, let me just say, okay, I'm calling in, 200K, that's my goal this month or last month or whatever. Or we need 10 calls for here, or say it's weight, I need to lose 10 pounds, whatever your goal is. If you don't trust that that's going to happen, because you don't believe that things can be easy, you're going to go and do things that are going to make it happen. Now, God, please, there's such a gray line, a gray area here. This is not black and white, because I don't want you to ever think I am saying not to do work. The woman that I'm talking to, or the man, we already do the work. Like on our worst fucking days, we're doing more than most humans. So just know that, because I don't want your airy-fairy asses to go in here and say, Casey says just to not do anything. No, absolutely not. But when we go into that space of trying to make things work, like weight, all right, what do women do? They go straight into, I'm going to do cardio every day. I'm really serious, so I'm going to not eat any carbs, or I'm going to slash my calories. Oh, well, that started working, but now it's fallen off. Let me just add some more fat burners in. Let me do more cardio, right? You're forcing your body to let go of weight. But did you hear? It's like an oxymoron. Forcing, let go. They don't really go together, right? So when we force things into being, we're doing it because we don't trust. We do not, there is no trust when we go to force things into being. It means that we don't believe it can actually happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be me. And I'm probably going to fuck it up because I sabotage myself because I really don't think I can have the nice things, so that when I do sabotage it and don't get it, see, I was right all along. I'm a piece of shit and I don't deserve happiness. So we have to go and we have to break those fucking patterns, right? So when we do things out of force, let's just say there's this greater thing than we are. Those of you that are religious, you're going to say God. Some of you that are not, you may say source or universe or higher self or whatever. So when we force things, we're like shunning that higher thing, saying, you know what, I don't need you, fuck it, I'll do it my damn self. Comes from, it's like hyper independence. That's a trauma thing, right? So when we do that, everything's on us, and we're humans. We're at the mercy of apparently watching everything on social media. We're at the mercy of politics. If gas prices increase, everybody flips their shits and turns into immediate economic specialist and goes on a bitching campaign. We're very vulnerable people, humans, right? So wouldn't you like to have some help outside of yourself, right? Like universal support that wants you to have these nice things or whatever. We could go on for days and go down a wild fucking rabbit hole of how to call that in. But anyway, when you force shit and you get results out of that, if you get results from tilapia, asparagus, beach body diets and CrossFit 5 days a week and taking all these fat burners and not eating calories, and you lose 20 pounds, guess what your brain's going to think that it takes the next time you need to lose weight? You're going to think it takes all that shit. And there you go again trying to do it, and this time it's not going to work, and it's going to put you in a hole, man. It's going to be really bad. And even if it does work, it may take more. Next thing you know, man, you're aging really like shitty. Relationships are kind of you're running on empty. You're snappy with the kids. You don't want to have sex. Sales are down. You don't have any energy to do this. Your stress goes through the roof, right? You're just pouring from that empty cup, man. Nothing's working out. Sleep's shit. Your body's kind of fighting back. It's constipated. Like you're bloating. You're just puffy. You're holding on to weight. Now it's because you forced it into being earlier and had some results. Now you're going to do the same thing and think that it's going to get you the same results, and it's not. Versus tapping into your actual power comes the letting go and the trust. And this is really scary. Listen, if you can't get it with this one training, please don't give up. You're going to have to do a layered process. If you want to do it with yourself, fine. Do it with somebody else, fine. Be happy for it to be through Hot Moms. We have everything you freaking need. But to trust. Okay, we're going to walk through what that would look like for you, for me. I'm going to give you some tips on that. But what if there was a way to remove the stress, the worry, and things just actually worked out for you? What if? How would you feel? Whew. It'd feel pretty good. Like, dude, no, actually, you don't have to do all that. You could just go do something fun and then come back to it because you're going to have that one idea that's going to be the thing you need to do. You'd probably go do that thing, right? Because you're not an idiot. That's how it gets to be. And I forget this sometimes. I forget this. I am a woman and I get emotional. And the thing about that is when we get emotional, we get scared and we take action out of that fear. And that action that we took gets a certain result that's fear-based, and then it's kind of not what we want, so we take another fear-based action, really doesn't get us what we want, and then we take another fear-based. Next thing you know, we're so far down that shit show left, like we're way off the course, way the fuck off, right? And if we would have just cleared out all the stuff, got clear and trusted, and was able to let that thing go and trusted that it was going to work out, we would have taken action differently. We probably wouldn't have done that thing and done something that was more in alignment with our vision and trust of what we actually get to have, how it actually gets to be, because we do have a choice. And there was a time in my life when I didn't feel like I had a choice, but now I know I got a choice. And don't worry, you've been through harder things. Like you can do this. But wouldn't that be nice? You would probably just feel a lot better. Well, that's how it gets to be. There's, for everything you're feeling now and all the stress, there's actually a flip side to that. There's actually a flip side. And my job is to help you tap into that, because it's the same. You can do it with weight, relationships, business, whatever. So here we go. All right. Let me scroll down here. I did take notes. Okay, for me, letting go, and I'll show you a story. So I was sitting there last month, tripping, man, in July, right? Like, I don't know what we're going to do to hit the goals. Like, this number's down, this number's down, this is down. Fucking ad spend was like way higher because there was an issue with our media account. Like, it was pretty fucking scary. And even though I have coaches, it's still like, you know, you do the things and it's just kind of not getting the results. You feel like you're missing something. There's just something there. You're just, the pressure's high. You're backed in a corner. Ugh, right? And I kind of got tired of that Southern Belle shit. You know, oh my God, I put myself in a situation. I need somebody to save me. Oh my God, a redemption. I did it myself. You know, oh, just like that Scarlet from Gone with the Wind. I was her for a long time. Still kind of her, and I had to be okay with her because it was part of me, but I kind of got tired of that energy. I kind of got tired of that. And I kind of decided this crazy fucking thing. And I said, never said this before, out loud. I said, I am choosing peace. Peace. I'm talking funny because I have braces on the bottom. Can't wait to get them off. And I said, I am choosing peace. I'm deciding on peace. I've never claimed this before. I've only claimed things. You know, the body, the money, the house, the experience. I've never claimed I've never claimed peace. I did this last month. I was like, I'm claiming peace. And I know that when I make these like declarations, I kind of like, because I know I'm going to get what I ask for. We always do. You always do. And so when this happened, oh my God. Oh my God. I started obviously leveling up. And you know, you've seen those sayings, it's like, oh, when things get hard, it means you're leveling up. It's very fucking true. But from my personal experience, because I didn't heal a lot of my shit, my baggage, I stayed in that cycle constantly, constant roller coaster of having to buckle down and get it done. You know, like weight loss, man, where you're all in and then nothing, all in and then nothing. I got so tired of that shit with my business and my body and my motivation that I had to surrender. And having children is the first thing that helped me. That's how I created Hot Moms. It's because I was struggling before that with body and health and all this, trying to train people. It was horrible. Kids helped me to surrender, because if you don't, you'll die. If you do not surrender to motherhood, it's just not going to look good on you or anybody else. And so that's what taught me originally how to surrender. And then when I started noticing patterns of when I did let go, holy shit, things actually did happen for me. And I'm like, I got to share this, because now it's just weird. Now I can't say that it's serendipity or it's a coincidence. There's actually like an art, there's a science to this shit, man. So I was tripping out, right? And I remember sitting there, and I had my phone out, my laptop, and it was our anniversary. Those of you that follow my shit, it was our anniversary. We were staying at the Dawn, man. We love the vibe of the Dawn here in St. Pete. It's very feminine. It's actually called the Pink Palace. Tons of hotties there too. Apparently, Skip's like, dude, there's so many hot girls here. Guys just don't know about it. But very feminine place, beautiful private beach resort type thing. Very fancy, bougie on the inside kind of thing. You know, you want to wear your designer shoes when you go here. You know what I'm saying? And we were staying there, so it was so nice. And I was like, you know, this is the first time we have had by ourselves in forever. And I'm sitting here stressed and not present, worried about business and just worried. And I just hit my breaking point. I wasn't okay with that. And so this is what you're going to have to do. Make note. You're going to have to decide and you're going to have your come to Jesus, your fed up moment. And you're going to have to decide, like, I'm kind of done with this shit. Like, I'm kind of done with this shit. And I did that, and I said, you know, the whole thing about force, it's right, because I would be sitting here forcing something to happen. What would it look like? What would it look like if everything I was worried about was just pushed aside? Then what? Because it really was out of my control. Like, I was doing the everything I knew to do. And it was just didn't feel good. And I was like, okay, what if I pushed everything aside? Like, then what? And I kind of felt better. And I was like, okay, I kind of feel better. And that's all you're trying to do is rearrange your energy and get to the bottom of like what's causing it, so you can like clear that out and call in more compassion for yourself. Because compassion for yourself heals every fucking thing. Like, it changes your world. But I put that aside and started feeling better. I'm like, okay, I remembered. I'm kind of getting slowly back into the alignment of what I know is true for me when good things happen. And I started writing, I started doing the things that I teach. And I asked myself, I was like, okay, if I knew for a fact that I am leveling up, all this is like, how can I be okay with now? How can I fully accept the now? And just fully accepting that, right? That's very freeing. So how can you accept, I need to type this in there. How can I accept? Okay, and I'll put the homework there for you in the training. But how can you fully accept what's happening right now? If you did all you could, and even if you feel like you didn't, you're here now. So, understanding that it's also a learning process, like you're actually going through a growth process. Like that book, The Obstacle is the Way. Like, anytime you're pushed up against this new edge, it always means it's an opportunity in there somewhere. Even though how fucked up it may seem, there's always an opportunity for a new perspective on life. There's always an opportunity for growth. Just like when 2020 happened, anytime we go through anything, there's always an opportunity for growth. Even if it seems like the most horrible thing, like losing a child. Like, yes, it is the worst thing could ever possibly happen. But with every bad thing, there's also a flip side, right? So understanding that just right there, I love that. But anyway, fully accepting the human experience of it is what it is. But another thing that our coach Mary says, she's in Hot Moms, and she's like, fuck this shit. And I always say, what would fuck it look like right now? What would fuck this look like? And for me, that day it was, I'm going to just let it go. I'm just going to close the laptop. I'm going to trust. I'm going to set my intent. My intentions are, for this company to be blessed, my people to be taken care of, to change lives, and to call in the women that I can actually help, that wants help. Like, that's my intention. I'm closing my laptop. I'm going to choose me. I'm going to go for what feels good. Period. Like, I have to get in the vibe of the way I want to feel. I've done the shadow work. I've done the stuff. Here I am again. Now, how can I get back in alignment? What do I need right now? And I needed to let go. And I hadn't let go in a long time. Letting go can be like orgasmic. Think of like letting go, the release of an orgasm. But crying is a let go, because you're letting go of stuff. But for me, it had been a while since I sat on the beach. Y'all know we moved from Siesta or Sarasota to this area, and I hadn't found a beach that I liked yet, right? And then there we were at the Dawn, and the St. Pete Beach was right out back, and it was actually beautiful. It was actually different. And I was like, it's been a minute. It's been months since I have sat on the beach and just sat there and looked at the water, breathed, and just tapped into my shit, did some writing. It's been a minute. It had, and even my baths, like, I'll still take some baths. I was just really doing writing and sitting in here and doing some writing, but my schedule had gotten off. You know what it's like. You know what it's like being a fucking mom, right? But anyway, so I said, that's right. So I shut my laptop. I made the commitment. I said, even though it seems like the opposite thing of what I need to do right now, because the old me would have been like, Casey, you need sales. You need to be on doing lives. You need not that this is for that. I'm definitely trying to stir shit up, but because we did hit our goal. Okay, just letting you know. Casey, you need to be doing. You need to be helping the sales team. You need to be taking calls. You need to be running this. You need to be doing like all this shit, right? But I didn't. I was like, all of that is out of should. It's out of force if I'm going to make it happen. Letting go is, I need to go defrag. I need to go release. I need to go hit pause for a minute so I can gather myself, because I hadn't done that in a while. So anytime you get in the state, just go sit, go walk, go stop what you're doing, turn off the phone, give yourself 10 minutes, give yourself an hour. You will realign. Now, after a trip, like our trip, I promise I'm coming back. We just went to Arizona, and with the family, like for a full week and all this stuff. And we got back, after the airport, all these energies and people and back to back, and it was really hard. I was out of sync with my regimen. Yesterday was the first day back, and I sat on the beach, and I felt like there wasn't enough time. Okay, and I recognized that, and I go, wow. So what would make me feel like I had enough time right now? And it was like, well, if you just allowed yourself the next 2 days to still show up and do your work and make sure you get on this beach and you go to the gym. And I was like, okay. And I was like, wow, so after a trip, I probably do need about 3 days of just rest. And I let myself lay in the bed this morning. Normally I get up and I whatever, but this morning I didn't feel like it felt way better to just lay in the bed for a little bit. And I knew I had processed some grief yesterday. So I knew I had been through all this stuff, and I had some compassion for myself from going back to back and doing all this stuff. And I was like, I need to just let go for a minute, just kind of defrag, kind of simmer down, right? Simmer down now from SNL years ago. But I knew that. And that's it. That's the key right there. So for me, I do the beach, I do the walking, I go drive. Yesterday I even did an extra probably 5 miles of driving, turned on a song, and just any other tears that need to come out behind my big, I highly recommend buying big designer glasses, because you can really hide some tears behind there. I will be just walking on the beach, people saying, hey, I'll be crying. They can't see it. Buy those big designer glasses. It's an investment, okay? I just told you. Go get those Tom Fords, baby. Go get those Chanels, okay? So that's what boss bitches do. We get designer sunglasses and we cry behind them. So the shit that comes out that I did not expect to come out. So I went and sat on the beach. I did that over and over, and I spent time with myself. Yeah, it's very important that it's by yourself. You kind of got some the egoists. You're narcissistic because you are kind of that self-sacrificing mom. It's not great. Okay, we all fall into it, but you need to really catch that. If you feel like you don't have time to do that, that means you are very toxic. And if you don't want to be that way, you have to choose you, and you have to do this, because unfortunately, if you died today, they would get by. Yeah, no, I know it sucks not to be needed, but when you realize that you're needed more than ever. So it's really weird. It's really weird. I promise it's going to work out. So anyway, that was me. I was doing the beach. I did the walking, had massive breakthroughs. And then what do you know? The second, this is how shit works, man. The second I just energetically said, fuck it, and like made it okay in my heart, it fully accepted, like, it is what it is, acceptance. It literally, ding ding, like all this stuff happened. Like when I say ding ding, like notifications that someone did this or bought this or did that, or the team's like, oh, we had a good meeting or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm getting back into the alignment, man. It just feels good when you're in alignment. It just feels good. Now, please, we're gonna feel bad. For every good feeling, there's also a bad feeling. So you have to be okay with both. You have to be okay knowing that, listen, and I help women all the time with this, like when they're tripping their balls off. I'm like, this is just a phase. It's like a bad trip. If you've ever done drugs, okay? It's like, listen, take a deep breath, breathe your way through it. Morning will come, it will soon be over. And sometimes it may last 3 days, sometimes it may last a week, 2 weeks. But once you start increasing your emotional intelligence in this way, it'll get shorter and shorter and shorter. What used to take you, months to come out of, and then you'll have to clean up the mess that you made from the months of being out of alignment. Now you'll catch yourself and you won't be out of alignment as long. You do that over time and things get easier for you. Even challenges, when you're at that point, challenges that come your way don't really take you out, right? So how do you let go? How do you let go, Casey? Well, for me, letting go and saying fuck this shit is making sure my ass is in the gym by this time, whether I'm doing a stretch routine, a routine, and then it's writing, or it's sitting on the beach. It is sitting by myself some fucking where. It is sitting on that couch right there in my office with all the blinds closed, telling my family to give me an hour. It is in the bathroom telling my family to give me 30 minutes. It's somewhere. So letting go And see, I just got paid from podcasts. It was awesome. Ding dings. When I'm doing the right thing, man. Um, but you get what I'm saying. So how to let go is, well, if what you're doing right now doesn't feel good, and you push that aside, and you trusted that either way you were going to be okay, and you knew you were going to be okay, and you're actually going to get something better, how would you feel? Well, feel that way right now, and then how can you go get by yourself and just breathe, or cry and walk, get by a body of water, listen to your, like, be alone. You have to go be alone and just sit with those feelings. Let them come up. You may want to scream, you may want to cry, you may want to write. Your job is to go sit with that and release. That's the letting go. And it may be a big breath. That codependency shit where you're just fucking your grief away. And you don't want to really be like Blanche Devereaux on Golden Girls, because ultimately in those episodes, she wasn't ultimately happy because she realized that she couldn't replace her first love. So she grieved him. She wasn't open to receiving a different love in a better way, right? You know what I'm saying? So she said it in the episode. I love Golden Girls. She said it. She was so sad. She just felt that sex was a great way to handle grief. And you just, you just want to kind of make sure you're doing things safely, paying attention to that stuff. It's just like wine. Well, just one glass of wine, yeah, but just make sure that you're not doing it because you're really stressed that day. You're going to be, because now if you do that, you're just going to prolong the inevitable. When you could just go sit for 30 minutes or 10 minutes and fight that urge and sit there with that feeling of fighting the urge. Get down to beneath the urge, and you'll find stress and unmet expectations and love unreceived, and maybe some betrayal, maybe some disrespect, and you'll get to feel that. And then you may cry, and then you may feel pissed off. It's okay. Like, you need to just feel all that shit. Take as long as you need, and then go back home. Skip, I'll tell him all the time, I'm like, listen, just go drive. Go get out, take as long as you need. You need that. You got to give that to yourself. You have to give that to yourself. If not, then your life's going to be fucking hard. And you get what you deserve at that point. I mean, some people just don't deserve success because they're not willing to do the work. They're just not willing to sit with their shit. And if you will, that's called letting go for me. That's how you let go and release, is you just go get by yourself. That's it. You don't drink, you don't eat, you don't sit there and do whatever. It's just, how can you go be by yourself? It could be walking through the Home Depot flower section. Something that's just by yourself. A lot of women like to shop, but then if you go shop, this was me too, man. I would get in these feelings, and I was like, well, having that would make me feel better. That would elevate me. And I used to say that, oh, well, that will make me feel better, and da-da-da. Right. That's why women do shop a lot, is because they're trying to fill a void and get that instant, this feels good, when really what you were craving was unconditional self-love. And unfortunately, nobody knows how to teach that, and it all sounds fucking stupid. Like, I used to watch it, self-love, and I would be like, bitch, you don't, I know how insecure you are. What are you talking about? But that was me not loving myself, right? Instead of being happy for her teaching self-love, right? So, sometimes this type of shit is just like clouded by other things in the industry of like, oh, we're girls and we're going to share unicorn rainbow tampons. And that just wasn't me. I was so masculine, and girls seemed to be so weak, and like feminine was such a weak sex, and just like whatever. And I had to really change my relationship with the feminine. And here's what that looks like. So divine feminine energy is, so tell me which one you check off on right here, if my computer will go. All right. So divine feminine energy is strong, and it has boundaries, meaning she goes to sleep when she needs to go to sleep so that she can feel good. She takes care of herself because she knows she's the queen, and if she doesn't take care of herself, she can't take care of her people. She's supportive. She's loving and supportive. She's not codependent. Codependent says, if you'll just do what I'm telling you to do, life will be easy. If you'll just do more of this, I would be happy. That's toxic as fuck. She's vulnerable. Okay, a lot of us powerful women, we feel very scared when we feel vulnerable. It is scary. Um, Divine feminine is vulnerable, and that's her power. She finds she has power in that. She's compassionate towards herself. Like, hey, you've been through a lot, man. You've been traveling. You've had a lot on your plate. Probably need just some. The kids are going back to school. Why don't you just go get yourself a massage? Why don't you just go get your feet done? Why don't you go for a walk? Okay, everything is still going to be here when you get back, and you're going to have a clear mindset, and you're going to make better decisions. So she's creative. If you'll find your when you're struggling for ideas, it's because you got too much going on. I say this in my training, like when people want to come up with ideas, sitting there and squeezing your head so hard that it hurts, it's not going to create an idea to fall out. What's going to create an idea to fall out is when you are blow drying your fucking hair or doing something random, right? It's because your mind got off of the thing and to let go, and then now the thing can come in. What just happened? And now the thing can come in. So if you're struggling with creativity and intuition, it just means there's too much going on and you need to let go. You need to blow off. What's that word that's like exhaust? The afterburners, all that shit. Okay. She's receptive. She's confident in her body. That's divine feminine. Wounded feminine is she hates her body, never happy in her body. Divine feminine is she always asks for what she needs instead of I can do it myself. She realizes that, hey, things were going great. Now there's shit. Can anybody help me? Like, I'm struggling here. And now you can get back on, right? So if you sit there and you stay in your shit because you don't want to burden anyone, that's on the scale, that's on the negative side of narcissism. The other side is where you feel so like everybody should help you because you're the most important thing in the fucking world, and fuck them. So you could be like that, the person that you think's the narcissist, but the equal opposite is actually a narcissist as well that's very toxic. That's why a lot of empaths, say that, well, I'm with the narcissist and I attracted that. Yeah, because you never speak up and secretly you crave all this other shit. Like it's just a trauma bond, right? So anyway, divine feminine, she enjoys the process of creation, like starting a business, starting on your weight loss journey, this new thing. She enjoys the process because you kind of make friends with yourself and shitty situations because you find your way out and everything's going to be okay. Like when you really know that things will be okay, even in the midst of whatever, and sometimes you're going to need validation. Like I still have to ask people sometimes if I'm really scared, I'll have people that I go to and I'm like, can you help me with this? Just because I need some reassurance. It's totally normal sometimes. Especially if you're healing from a lot of shit like I have, like you may need that. You may need, you may be like that. Okay. Able to relate to others by listening, sharing, and creating only for my paid people. And I asked my team, I was like a little, because this is like a little, it's not my typical stuff I teach here on public, Facebook. And they were like, put it everywhere because they know what's really going on and they want to share it with you. So I was like, okay. So I love being around badass bitches because when you become a badass bitch, you attract those. So if you're attracting women who hurt you, it's because you hurt them, right? If you're scared of attracting judgmental women, it's because you judge, right? Shout out John Whiting. He goes over this in when he teaches on judgment. I think that's one thing that he was saying, but it's so true. It's like, the woo-woo crowd we've always said is the people in your life are a mirror reflection of who you were, are gonna, all that stuff. But typically, if you're like, well, I can't trust women, it's because you've also had those same qualities. Otherwise, you wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so here we go. We got some more here. Now, wounded feminine. See, that was the divine stuff. So wounded feminine is looking for external validation. Wanting to vent and just people to feel sorry for her versus, hey, here's what's going on, and here's how I fix it, or how can I fix it, or whatever. But looking for external validation, always trying to maybe do too much. She's trying to do too much, so the women at school will say, I don't know how you do it all. You're just the super mom. Makes her feel so good, but really she's very wounded and insecure and not getting anything she wants, and she's resentful. Manipulative. I don't even have to explain this. Y'all be knowing what manipulating is. Okay. Can you believe she's asking me to help her? What is it? No, let me back up. You know, when you tell, like, yeah, I'll help you, girl. I'll help you get your thing together, your shower, and you bust ass getting her shower ready, girl. Oh my God, you do all this stuff because you know she better, deep down, she better help you with your stuff. When the day comes when you need her help, you're gonna let everybody know that she didn't help you and you were nice to her. No, that's called manipulation. That's manipulation, okay? Stuck in victimhood, you know, something's always just too, it's so hard for me, it's not hard for everybody else, but you don't understand my story. Look what so and so did to me. It's always hard for this, you know, you get it. Sacrificing yourself, always too busy to, you know, desperate for love. And just excessive in a lot of things. Also, no boundaries. No boundaries or self-control. I was just busy and I didn't eat. That's wounded as shit. How do you let go of that? You go sit quiet with yourself. Everything is there. You may need, now that you haven't done this shit in a long time, you may need like 5 days of that. So it's almost like, here's your prescription right here. Prescription, because if you don't give it to yourself, nobody's coming to save you, baby. They don't give trophies either. You'll just, yeah, you'll be miserable wondering why it's so hard, because you didn't take action. Like, you didn't take responsibility for it. So this is how you take responsibility. Here's your permission slip to go today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, whether it's a bath, it is, you know, do a pole dancing class, it is sit by yourself near the water, sit in the car, no phone, like, just, you need to breathe and you need to sit with your pain. That's what letting go is like for me. Okay? And now I'm going to give you some stuff that you can flip things around to really shift your energy and like where to go from here. Also, though, we can't go over wounded feminine without the masculine. It's just important to know that all these things that we're going through, especially me when I was like worried about hitting my goals, beating up on myself because I'm at the gym, I'm not going to do all this stuff. That's not okay. Talk to ourselves like that. It just means that these things come in, it doesn't feel good, and then out of that, if we don't know like that they're running the show, we're going to take action out of that because we don't feel like we're enough or we're good enough or we're going to hit our goals. So we go take action out of that, remember? And you're going to, over here, you're taking action out of the fear. What do you think you're going to get? More shit. So you can be right. See, nothing works out for me. Yeah. If you're tired of that shit, you'll notice the voices that come in. You'll be like, aha, there's some to this. Okay, what does this mean? Let me go sit with that. Let me go do Casey's alchemy codes. Let me go figure this out. Let me go find out the stored emotion here so I can free it, because it is not serving me. What would fuck this shit look like? Because that's what I'm going to do. If every one of you right now in your highest stress moment, hey, well, what would be easy for you right now? What would make it easy? Well, what would make it easy is if I just didn't have to cook dinner tonight and we could do chicken nuggets. Well, baby, then do chicken nuggets. And if you feel guilty about it, then we can find out where that guilt came from and we can clear that too. Or you can just, guilt's easy. Just be like, okay, well, if we just had that eraser board and we just wiped off the guilt, then what's there? Nothing. Go back to what you were doing. Carry on. That's how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it. Wounded masculine. Okay, attachment to success. Lord Jesus. That was so me. I was wounded feminine and masculine, baby. Honey. Okay. Attached to success. I want it now. Like that song, I want it all, and I want it now. Dude, whew. The flip side of that's grief. It's because I can't have it. And then the depression, like they can have it, but I can't. So that's why I say, you know, trauma isn't what happened to you. Trauma is like what didn't happen to you. And so I had to find out why I felt this way, do the stuff, and then realign. When I felt that way, I'm like, aha, my self-care is low. Let me go sit by myself. Let me go spend some time by myself, on myself, and it works every time. It works every time. Like, it's guaranteed. So anyway, fear of failure, that is a wounded masculine. Needing to be right, not in touch with the emotions, not feeling anything, very aggressive, cold, distant, critical, judging yourself, judging others. They're just this, they're just that. There's that, been there. All that stuck in your mind. Excuse me. Throat chakra over here. Defending self always, attacking others, like defending himself. Anything somebody says or posts, whatever, you're like, well, actually, da 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 da. Wounded masculine and the healthy masculine, what we're going to get to, because each one of us has certain amounts. Everybody has both, but whether or not it's more one or the other is, I don't know what that's depending on. But everybody has feminine and masculine energy. Everybody. The faster you can get in touch with your divine feminine and your divine masculine energy, you'll be way more successful and way happier. Oh, you'll have the thing and actually feel the way you want to feel. Did I get it? Because right when I claimed it, it went into that was not safe. Bad shit happens when things are easy. And you want to know what I had to clear? Y'all are going to laugh, but not you. You may laugh at this. So I was clearing this. Why is it scary for things to be easy? Seriously, I was looking at my pace numbers, looking at everything, and it was so easy, y'all. It felt like so easy. Real easy. And I got so fucking scared. Like, I got this weird feeling, and I was like, once again, I noticed the feeling, and I was like, well, this is not very desirable to feel this way. This is going to be an issue because this does not feel like ease and flow of hitting that number. So I had to do some work on it. And do you know what it came from? Oh my God. It came from when I was probably eight or nine. And we lived on, well, I mean, we lived in bumfuck Egypt, okay? West Georgia represent. I mean, lots of acres. Right? I think we had like 500 acres, right? But our house was on, I don't know. Hell, I really don't know. It was in the middle of a big pasture, if that tells you anything. So we had a big yard. Dad, and his thing, I don't know why, for the love of God, I don't know why, because now they have a big John Deere. But then, we had the snapper. And then for some reason, maybe he needed the money and he had to sell the snapper and he had to get push mowers. And I had a 90 Honda four-wheeler at the time. And he told me I had to do the grass with that push mower. Well, I wanted to take the easy road, the easy path. I had shit to do, honey. So I backed up, like put the push mower backwards and got dog leashes and tied it to my little bar on the back of my four-wheeler so that naturally it would hold down the thing that cut the grass and I could just pull it. And now I had a fucking riding mower with a nice seat on the Honda. Like, what? That was very smart at 7, 8 years old or however old. I grew up in the country. We do everything young around there. Okay? No jokes about incest. I don't think there was any of that, but there could be, because y'all know I'm just kidding. But, so I did that. And dude, when he got home, I didn't get spanked, but I got fucking verbally abused, emotionally abused, and in so much fucking trouble. I got in so much fucking lawnmower, like it was okay. And the yard got done. But it wasn't how he told me, because my dad had things where he was the type, he had the wounded shit where if he said that he had that authoritarian, we call that, we'll teach you about that in Reset and Restore. Authoritarian is, you do this, motherfucker, because I said so. It doesn't have to make fucking sense. You just do it because I said so. Because an authoritarian parent, they see obeying as love, because they don't know what unconditional love is. So they think if the kid does and jumps when I say jump, that means they are respected and loved, because they really don't feel that way. That's ultimately what it is. So I wish I knew that back then, but I didn't. I kind of took what my dad said to heart, and the easy way is not the fucking right way, and that you get very punished for easy ways to do things. And so that's kind of where it started of. That's why I've been really scared. That and multiple. Like, you have no idea. I grew up with the belief of you fucking bleed till you get it done. You work till you're fucking tired, and then you go some more because we fucking work around here. And if you don't, you're a piece of shit. Like, it was so bad, y'all. Kind of like debt. Like, if you had debt and you didn't work hard, you're a piece of shit and all these other words. Yet, they never seem to have enough money. Weird. So anyway, that tells you that working hard is never the answer, okay? Grinding and working till you bleed, it's never going to get you that. That's scarcity mindset, and you got to drop that shit. And you got to be, same thing with relationships, same thing with your body. It's why women get in the program with Hot Moms and they start having breakthroughs. They start breaking these generational weight curses, and they don't even work as hard, and they lose more weight and keep it off. They can even go on vacation, some shit could happen, they keep it off. It's because we get down to the bottom of where this originated. Like, where did it come from? And we start peeling it back, healing the body, mind, and soul. And it's pretty fucking incredible. Because when you feel like you're not enough, you're going to overdo it every time. When you feel like you're not losing enough weight, you're going to restrict and you're going to do more. When you feel like your business isn't growing fast enough, you're going to do all this shit. And then you're going to fuck shit up in the process when really you just needed to go do something else and let the machine work. Or come back when you're more aligned and can make better decisions, right? So anyway, that's where mine started. And, it just got triggered from when I saw that number and had that fear of, I'm going to fuck it up because it can't be this easy. Because in my mind, easy was not okay. And then now, I'm telling y'all, it gets to be easier. If you will learn how to surrender, accept, let go, trust. Accept, surrender, let go, trust. Excuse me, I'm burping. Like, you have to learn how to do that, and it takes practice. It's like perfecting your squat. It's going to be really scary in the beginning. You're going to feel like you're going to fall over. It's going to be scary when you put more weight on the bar. It's going to be scary when you remove the safety bars. It's just like that. You really have to practice and redo and practice and redo, and then make notes, and then you'll start finding your triggers. When you get scared, you'll be like, oh yeah, this means I'm out of alignment, and here's what I need to do. And you'll always find the answer in your time, in your time, like when you're sitting there by yourself doing the inner work. That's what the work looks like. Dr. LaPera, y'all know I did a podcast with her new book, Doing the Work. This is what it's talking about. This is the work. It's not showing up at the gym, making phone calls. It's behind that. It's the intent of why you're doing it. And if you're doing it out of fear and force, it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder. And then you'll be that type where, yeah, you did it. The harder I work, the luckier I get. When you have kids and you're trying to homeschool and you're trying to hit goals that shouldn't be attainable, and you're also trying to look like a fitness model and help people and stay grounded and happy, something's got to give. And if I got to give anything up, it's going to be that fucking energy that makes me feel like you got to do this, you won't do this, and scarcity, and you may die, and you're not going to be taken care of it. You're going to be on, like, all the fear of losing it. You just kind of, maybe you need to lose it and emotionally and feel that fear. Let it just come through you. That way you can feel what it's like. You don't actually have to go through it. And then hop over on the flip side or try to get neutral, okay? Getting neutral is just what I told you, going for a walk, doing this realigning, feeling just neutral. You're not really highly charged up. You're not like trying to pump yourself up, but you're not also depressed and you can't do it. You're just right there. And then you just take the next logical decision. Well, what feels, or you can go to your heart. Well, if I knew for a fact that all this was already done, how would I feel? Whew. It would feel good. I would feel like doing X, Y, Z. Okay, well then just do that and be done. That's the key. That is the fucking key right there. That's the how. That's how you let go. Is simply, it may be yoga. It may be a workout. It may be walking by yourself. It may be sitting in the bathtub, walking through Home Depot flower department. You have to be by yourself. Don't have your phone. Be present. And how are you feeling? Do you want to turn on the radio? You could turn on the radio, maybe, while you're driving. Turn on a sad song. Turn on some Adele. Don't try to make your feeling go away. Try to bring the feeling up. That's a new one. Instead of making the feeling go away, try to pull it in. Try to call it up. And let's see if you can let it come through you and out of you and release. That way you're not bottling it in and it's not there. You can just let it go, and when you let it go, you feel so much better. My kid, he cried the other night. He does it about once every 2 or 3 months. He'll go through this deep fear, and we're working on it. We're making sure we're keeping an eye on it. This deep fear that he gets sad if he thinks about mommy and daddy dying. I think that it's a very normal thing. And maybe if it's not, he, like I said, he goes to cranial sacral, but it's happened before. And I've watched people that do like plant medicine. If you've ever watched anybody in therapy, like real therapy, and they cry, I think it's in a book too. You're not supposed to hug them. Like, you're not supposed to hug or interrupt them. They're supposed to do it and process it on their own. Now, I hug my kid because his little nervous system, he's a child, he doesn't have a fully developed nervous system, so he needs to feel safe and that it's okay. But I don't try to stop him from crying. I don't try to, don't feel that way, or, oh, that's gonna die. And I'm like, just let him process that. That's his. He needs to get it out. I'll hold him, let him know he's okay, and then I tell him it's only going to last for a minute. I'll say, you're doing great. Like when your kid's puking, you can just say, oh, you're doing so good. Good job. I mean, that's what I say. I'm sorry, and you're doing a great job. One more countdown, like having a baby. 5, 4, 3. Good. Breathe. 1, 2. You're doing so good. That's all you can do is support them until they get done, because it'll end. Okay, and you do that with yourself. So it may take 5 minutes, it may take 10 minutes, it may take an hour, and it may take hours, multiple days a week. But if it gets you where you want to go, and it makes you happy, and it's going to improve your life on levels you would have never even imagined, like, would you do it? What do you have to lose? Okay, and just do it. I encourage you. Let's see what comes through. Let's see what comes through. But that's the key. But yeah, I'll even going through this. I did this exercise and it helped, and or whatever. Like, hey y'all, if you're hurting, having people there just to hold space for you, dude, it helps so much. And none of them want to take it on, right? Like, I wouldn't want you to take on my shit. I want to do it myself. I want to do it myself. So never feel like you have to fix anybody, but believe in them and support them while they're fixing themselves. Okay. Let's see. Was there anything I left off? Hold on. Since I didn't click the screen. Okay, hold on. Shit. Give me a second. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll check it out. This is going really slow because I'm recording on multiple platforms. Okay, I've got journal prompts here. I wanted to share one more story. Yeah. Another one is I had a lot of stress that we had just gone through a lot of stress on my plate. And Waylon was wanting to go. I got 2 boys. The smaller one was wanting to go play putt-putt. And we got a beautiful pool. I'm looking at it outside South Florida. And it was kind of late. It was like 4 o'clock. And I mean, the worker being me is like workaholic. That likes, when I'm traumatized, I could bury myself in work, which is like, might as well say alcoholic, because that's what it is. I could have been like, let me get in there and do more ads, more this, more that. And I was so worried about something. I was stressed out. And I go, all right, if I just had a plate and all the shit that was in my current worries, I just pushed them out of the way, well, then what? And I was like, I'd probably feel happy and like fun. I would feel playful. Okay, if I felt playful, what would I do? And I was like, I'd spend time with my kids. Sure enough, Waylon wanted to go play putt-putt. Dude, we went out and played putt-putt, and then we went out to eat, and it was like, he still remembers that. He's like, Mommy, can we go on another date? It's the cutest thing ever. But I would have missed out on that if I would have stayed in my shit and stayed stressed out and felt like I didn't have time to do that. That's why you hear from a lot of millionaires, they'll say, family is most important than the money. And I get it. You're more important. If you don't have family, like you are the fam. More important than whatever else is going on. You're the most important. But just remember, please, there's a gray area, because I don't want you to go around and say, I'm most important, I am the highest of the high, I need 5 days, nobody fuck with me. That's toxic as fuck. I did not say that. I said 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and you don't have to speak to your spouse like a piece of shit, like, leave me alone, I said this, Casey said it's your fucking fault and I need it. So didn't say that. Be mature about it, all right? Say, hey, I'm emotional. Do this. This will scare guys every time. And he'll probably feel like he needs to rush in and be a hero. You can let him in a minute, but just say this to the guys. Hey, I am in my feels today. I need to go cry. Kind of want to do it by myself. Will you make sure the kids don't come in for 30 minutes? Don't worry, you're not in trouble. It's nothing big. I'll talk to you after. Just let me go cry, and then I'll be good. Because, tears scare the shit out of the men. And that's all you got to do. And, yeah, there you go. Okay. So you could ask yourself that if XYZ were wiped out of my mind, what's left over? Then what? And what would you do with that energy? Just like I said, I moved it to the side, and I said, what's left? And it was playful. And I was like, well, what would I do? I'd go play with my kid. And I did. The next one is, what do I need to feel better about my situation? What do I need? Let me type this in there. To feel better about my situation. And if that doesn't look possible to you right now, like, let's say, I know back in the day, I would have said $10,000 a month, a nanny, and a housekeeper. Okay, I hear you, girl. I hear you. And here's the deal. If you can't physically do the things that you need right now, that's okay. Don't use that as another way to just be sad. Use it as this. Okay, what would make my situation a little better right now? To have a house cleaner and whatever. Okay, well, if I can't afford that, how can I afford that? Let me go ask somebody that has money to change my beliefs around what I get to have and how money can support me, or how can I make find yourself in some opportunity situation. You'll see a coach, you'll see a book, you'll something, and then you follow that. Okay. Just know that what do you need to feel better about your situation can also be in the future. So if you see like housekeeper, all these things that you can't afford at the time, know that that vision was given to you because it's a possibility. So if you knew that that was true, how would you feel right now that one day you're going to have a nanny, a child care, and all this? How would that feel? Can you receive that, what that would feel like? Play in that energy and take action out of that energy and watch what happens. Okay. Or if you're in business, it may look like me right now, what would make me feel better about my situation? Having an appointment person to go and set appointments for people, to communicate bullshit. And if the answer is yes, then you just say, well, what would fuck it look like right now? Fuck it would look like I'm going to get off work and I'm going to go work out. Fuck. Or the yard. Okay? That's what it would look like. And you do that every day. You're the most important. Okay? Okay, that is all. That concludes that. If you would like any resources, guidance, help, whatever, best thing to do would be to DM me on Facebook, or you could always book a call, but not everybody gets through that because we do qualify. You have to make it through like the application process, but I'll give you the link, caseyship.com/book a call. Or you could just reach out in the DM. You could also comment, but I can't promise we'll get to everybody's comment. But those are the ways you could reach out. Our email is support@hotmomslifestyle.com. Okay, so let me head over here and see if it'll click. Let me get on my phone. See what's up? What's up? Okay. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Okay. Got it. Done.